Hello everybody and welcome back again to potentially the last episode of Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. It is episode 10 I believe, which is about the number of episodes that I had calculated for this Let's Play, so it would make sense if this is the end. And yeah, before starting the recording I have tried to decipher the runes over here, but unlike the runes on the runestone, this one doesn't really seem to mean anything, at least not in a language that I can understand. And while I can decipher runes, I don't actually speak like Old Norse, so this could be authentic text, but I just don't know the language it is written in. But whatever, let's not procrastinate anymore. We have Hela's gate in front of us, so let's see what awaits us.
Wait. What? What happens when she dies?
What is that?
What happens to us? We die too. Do we die too? We die too. I don't want to die.
We'll all die someday.
I don't want to die.
And when everyone's gone, even the gods will die.
I don't want to die. We don't want to die. I don't want to die. Senua, stop.
Turn back.
Stop. Stop her.
Is that a mirror?
Going. Stop. Senua, stop. What happens to us?
Well, would be kind of fitting. You remember the runes that I read in the very first episode on the runestone? Find Hela's truth in mirrors. So we have a mirror over here.
I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
I'm sorry. I didn't ask you to be a part of me. If you don't want to die with me, then leave me alone.
Stop. I don't want to die. Please stop. 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 Please stop.
You'll never come back if you go there.
There is nothing to go back to.
We only have each other now. Don't abandon me.
Everyone suffers. They were right about me.
Listen to me, not them. They are afraid. Like children scared of the dark.
So was I.
They made up monsters to fill the void. That doesn't make them real.
They made them real.
No!
Follow your soul and let go of the Senua of old. For there lies your weakness, and the darkness will find it.
Okay, so we went through the mirror. And we have another one over here.
It's not like the old stories, is it? The noble warrior facing evil in search of victory and honor. Clear dividing lines. No. Oh, this place is not quite like that. It's as if it knows that true torment lies within. Memories you cannot defeat, cannot escape. This is her hell.
Oh, these are the same runes as on the runestones. Yeah.
The man I was before Druth was a true coward, Senua. I was well traveled. I spoke both their tongue and ours. So they took me as a slave. I thought I could help to broker peace. Or at least stay their hands from slaughter. But under torture, I did no such thing. I led them warriors and slaves they sought. But I wasn't the only one. Another came to the Northmen willingly, offering a bargain, a man in black from your lands. And he was offered safe passage for his treason. In the end, Senua, it isn't the gods that cause us so much suffering, but those closest to us.
Huh. Well, that is rather vague.
I'm here for Dillian.
Right, let's go. What the hell?
Wait,
Mother!
don't be like this. Turn away, Senua! Turn away, Senua!
Do you see it, Senua? Do you see the darkness? Faces fear and suffering. You can see it.
I remember it clearly now.
She has nothing to fear anymore. The gods have saved your mother. Through my hand.
You killed her.
Oh, wow.
It is the will of the gods.
Fuck the gods! You did this to her! Why?
This is what happens when you listen to the voices of the underworld. They crawl into your soul and rot you from the inside. Defy the gods like your mother, and the darkness will come for you too. You understand, Senua?
So the mother did not commit suicide, but it was the father all along, huh? I see.
I do understand. You cursed me with your own madness. I was just a child. You created this darkness! You created this darkness so you could hide behind it!
Only suffering brings salvation. It is the way of the gods.
It was all a lie. You are a lie! She didn't defy the gods. She defied you! And so you killed her!
You didn't pray to the gods. You prayed to your mother. Your mother, who was too weak to fight the darkness and abandoned you.
You tortured her! You killed her! You are the darkness!
Okay, here we are. Hela's right in front of us. So I guess I have to focus on this now, despite of all the new revelations we just learned here. But yeah, let's go. Let's do this. Oh, up, nope.
Those rituals, the years of isolation, the pain that still haunts you. It was the only way to fight the curse within you.
You're a liar.
The darkness is inside you and it will destroy you.
You're a liar!
No, Senua. The darkness is here. You cannot wish it away. And it will watch as you draw your last dying gasp.
I won't let you kill me!
Okay, well, here we go, and we're starting with some of her minions, apparently. Okay, let's do this. This should be easy enough.
Careful, Senua.
Ooh. Didn't time that one correctly. So many of them. Oh dear.
Watch out.
I need to concentrate here. Oh, this will end badly.
Be careful, Senua.
And I totally blocked your stupid axe. Ooh, big guy. And another guy over here. Whoops. Didn't see that one.
Watch out. Behind you.
Oh no, oh no.
Behind you.
Let's focus, let's focus. It's much better. Oh, and another one of the big guys. This focus is lasting really long, huh? I like it. And this guy got me good a few times here. Oh no! Get up, get up.
I can see through your darkness. You're a liar and a murderer. And if you really are Hela, then I have a sword here that can kill a god.
Tja. Okay. Can I... Oh! It's going to repair itself.
Look at you. Running forward and moving backwards to wallow in your miserable past. You're making a mistake searching for Dillion. The same mistake that killed him in the first place.
You know, the interesting part is, compared to her father, or that vision of her father, Hela over there doesn't really seem all that frightening anymore. I mean, she's still really scary, but there's something oddly comforting about this. I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't really feel as scary anymore, like the first time we met her on the bridge. It's kind of like a feeling of, you know, it's going to end one way or the other, but it's going to be okay, whatever happens. So yeah, let's move on.
I'm trying to save you from yourself. You still believe it is a lie. The plague of darkness, the butchering of Dillion by the Northmen. You saw it yourself.
You told everyone I was cursed. They believed you. I believed you.
Tell me, Senua, where is Dillion's soul if the darkness is a lie? How you saved her?
I know he's here.
Okay.
Dillian, I know you're here. Hold on. I'll find you.
Okay, ooh. There's a big guy over here. Oh, is this like... Yeah, this is Third. Or a shadow of Third. Okay, well, let me remember how I fought this guy back then. I think I just evaded. Oh no, I know I get the beast again. Okay. But yeah, like I said before, at the moment I find Senua's father much more terrifying than Hela. And Third is back. Careful. And I believe the other shadow is actually like Valravana. Oh dear. All my old enemies are coming back and all at once. I don't like this at all. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? What happens if I focus? Can I maybe defeat them? Focus. Also, my voices have changed. I mean, normally you had like a lot of different voices in your head.
Dillian! Where is he? You're trying to trick me again with your lies. I know he's here. You took him from me. You have him.
Dillian is gone. Dillian is dead. Let him go now. I'm warning you.
Or what? What can you do to me that you haven't already? Fight me. Come on.
But yeah, the voices in her head are different. It's not many at the same time, but really just one voice. Yes, I need to take care of a few more minions before I can deal with Hela.
You betrayed your own father. You betrayed the gods in search of Dillian, in search of love. Look where that's got you. Let go of your battle. Let go of redemption. Let go of Dillian.
Oh dear.
Don't
There's
let
no
your
end to it.
darkness hurt anyone else.
Let's use a little bit of focus here. Oh, didn't see that guy. One is dead. Huh. It's weird, there's a lot of enemies, but it also feels like they're weaker than before. Like, I can kill them a lot faster than before. But it's just so many of them.
Watch out.
And it's kinda hard to see them too. Let's use more focus here. Yeah, I think the enemies are a lot, but they are weaker than before. You can just slice through them like this. Okay. Let's concentrate here. Oh no! Oh no! Get up! Let's focus again. And slice through even more enemies. This is insane. guy.
Surrounded, Senua. Behind you.
And another big guy. Ooh! Get up! Oh no! Oh no! Block! Block! Oh dear! Oh dear! Getting nervous. Really nervous. Slice through a few more of them. But they just keep respawning. They just keep respawning. This is like completely pointless. They just keep respawning.
Behind you.
And they're getting more true, I think.
Behind you.
I wonder if I can just like attack Hela directly, but don't think that's an option, huh? Oh, oh, whoa.
Go, Senua. You're killing yourself. Careful. Careful, Senua.
So yeah, I guess I just keep on going. What happens?
Let go, Senua. Let go of your battle.
Well,
Watch out.
maybe I should actually listen to the voices. Oh, I got an achievement, the final battle. What happened? Well, I guess we're not going to fight her.
If you're alive, and there's no darkness, then you never took him from me, did you? And I can't save Dorian. Is that what you want me to believe? After all you've done to me? And to him? You're not a lie, but you're a liar! You crawled into me, to confuse me and deceive me. But I know he's here. I know you have him. I'll give you my life. That's what you want, isn't it? My soul. Take it. I'll be a slave for you. I'll fight with you at Ragnarok. If you release him.
How we like going through the stages of grief here? Like denial, anger, bargaining, depression. So I guess the final stage would be acceptance, huh?
But if you won't, you will have to kill me. Because I've got nothing left. No fear. No hate. No quest. Nothing. And you will have no power over me.
Ooh. Wow.
I learned the hard way to not be afraid of death, Senua. Because a life without loss is one without love. You turn your back on death, and all you can see is the shadow that it casts. The longer you hide from it, the longer the shadow grows until all you can see is darkness. When our time comes, we must look death in the eye and embrace it as a friend. Only then can we let go of our fear. And emerge from our darkness.
Never forget what it is like to see the world as a child, Senua. Every autumn leaf is like a work of art. Every rolling cloud a moving picture. Every day a new story. We too emerge from this magic, like a wave from the ocean, only to return to the sea.
Oh, look at that.
Goodbye, my love.
Do not mourn the waves, the leaves, and the clouds. Even in darkness, the wonder and the beauty of this world never leaves us. It is always there, waiting to be seen again.
Oh no. Oh. It's the rot. The darkness is back. The darkness is working. Wait. What is it? It feels... It's different. It feels... It's okay.
Oh,
This is where
well.
my story once began.
It's different.
And so it has to end here,
It's changed.
because I cannot see further than this.
Follow us. We have another story to tell.
My friend, go with her. This now will be your story to witness. Goodbye.
Well, there we go. Wow. What a game. What a game. Okay, so, while I totally not wipe some tears from my eyes here, why not use the credits to talk a little bit about the game and what we just saw, because I have a lot of thoughts. So, as you know, I usually take some time to talk about the game that I played. Normally I make a special video for it, but since this game isn't so long, I guess I'm just going to do it right here in the final episode. So, yeah, first of all, maybe let's talk about the ending, because like I said, I have some thoughts about what was going on there, and I do believe that in this game they used like all the symbols and metaphors very intentionally, so there is a deeper meaning behind all of this. On the other hand, I also think that you probably shouldn't try to overanalyze everything, because some things can mean different things to different people, and some things are like vague and ambiguous on purpose. But for what it's worth, here are my thoughts on the end. So, as I mentioned, in that like 2-3 minutes when she was kneeling in front of Hela, she was like going through the 5 stages of grief. You know, there was definitely denial, there was definitely bargaining, I think there was anger and depression too, and the final stage, acceptance, was basically when she or Hela let go of Dillian's head and, you know, threw it into the void or whatever. So I guess this is like the real purpose of all of this, like not to bring back Dillian, but to accept that he's dead, that he isn't coming back, and to go on with her life. This is my interpretation of this anyway. So in that regard, it actually had like a good ending. Not the ending that you probably thought it would have, like either, you know, it's going to be dark and sad and she dies and she doesn't achieve her goal, or like the stereotypical happy ending where she manages to bring back Dillian. But it's still a good ending, and there is some sort of redemption here, I believe. Also, I think it was important for her to understand that it wasn't like some nondescript darkness within her or within her mother that caused all of this. Like we saw in that final cutscene that apparently her father killed the mother. So it wasn't her or the darkness that killed her, and it was not some darkness within Senua that caused all the other people to suffer. So I think it was important for her to understand that it is not her fault. It's not her fault that her mother died, it's not her fault that Dillian died. As a matter of fact, I think we have some reason to believe that it was her father too who was responsible for this, right? The man in black that Druth told us about could have been her father. So he led the Northmen to their village in the first place. So I guess this is another important aspect of the end, that she let go of this blame, and that she stops blaming herself for, you know, everything bad that happened to her. But instead, you know, that she's able to see that it was her father and that he did it to her and to her mother. So yeah, I guess Hela was, in a sense, some sort of repressed memory of her mother's death. As a matter of fact, in that final cutscene where you saw her on the burning pyre, and then it faded into the next image, and the figure of her mother got replaced by Hela. As you may remember, when we met Hela for the first time on the bridge, I noted that she kind of looks like Senua herself. I still kind of feel that it's true, especially in that final scene where, you know, it cut from Hela throwing away Dillian's head back to Senua. However, I think she also has a lot from her mother, specifically the fact that she is not rotten, half rotten, as it has been mentioned in the game, but she was half burned, you know, just like her mother. So I guess Hela was sort of the dark, depressed memory of her mother's death, and she had to confront it. And by doing so, she not only learned how to let go of Dillian, but she also learned to move on and not blame herself for all these terrible things. As a matter of fact, another thing that I noticed is she said at the end, "I have another story to tell." And I do remember that in the first episode, when she arrived in Hell, she said something like, this is the last story, or some of her voices said it, or there are no more stories after this, something to that extent. So now she looks forward again, and she has more stories that she wants to tell and more stories that she wants to, uncover. So, yeah, I guess it actually was, a positive ending, all things considered, which I somehow didn't expect anymore after everything we've seen in this game so far. But yeah, these are my initial thoughts that I can come up now after finishing this game. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of more that you can analyze and identify and stuff like that, but this is just what comes to my head right away. And yeah, maybe before we end this, let's talk a little bit about the game in general too. I guess what this game does best, and why it is totally worth to play this game, is, the atmosphere and the narrative elements, the story, which is interesting because the game doesn't really have much of a story as such. I mean, she arrives at Hell, and then she has to fight her way through all these dangers to reach Hela. So the real story is told in flashbacks and by the voices in her head, and not even in the right order. I mean, you get bits and pieces of her story here and there, and you kind of have to puzzle it together. But that kind of is, like, I guess, the attraction of the game, that you kind of have to piece together the story. It's not presented to you like on a silver platter. So you kind of have to uncover it for yourself. And like I said, the atmosphere of this game is amazing. It looks really gorgeous. They have done a lot great work with the design of this game. And as I mentioned before, they managed to take the same place and make it look very different just by, different lighting and different sounds and music. And on some occasions the game actually was surprisingly beautiful. I mean, for the most part it was very dark, but sometimes it was also very, very beautiful, interestingly enough. And yeah, I think from a technological standpoint, this game is really well done. I mean, Senua's animations were great. I'm guessing that they used some sort of motion capture for her. The other characters, the non-Senua characters like Druth and Dillian, I'm pretty sure that this was like actual real video, like not a game character that is animated by motion capture, but like an actual actor dressed up as Druth playing the role. So probably the same guy who also does the voice acting. And normally if you include like real video footage in a game, it seems kind of odd or out of place. But in this case it was actually pretty well done. It kind of fit the scenery, and it kind of fit the game, so it didn't feel out of place to have these real video sequences in them. So yeah, from a technological standpoint, I'm really quite impressed what this game has managed to achieve. I guess you could argue that the weakest part of the game was the gameplay, meaning the combat. However, I think that it is adequate for the game. I mean, it is not a very long game. If the game had been longer, then the combat probably would have been getting too boring after a while, since it is fairly simplistic. However, I think they made it so simplistic because they wanted to avoid including a lot of standard game elements that kind of break the immersion because they remind you that you're playing a game. For example, you do not get a proper tutorial. All you have is the voices in your head telling you what to do, but you definitely have to look up the key bindings yourself and kind of learn the game by yourself. And you don't have like a heads-up display, you don't have a map, you don't have a skill tree, no level progression. All these elements that you normally find in games, but that are kinda immersion breaking because they remind you that you're playing a game. And I think they wanted to get rid of all these elements, and of course if you do that, you can't really have a very complex battle system. But like I said, I feel the combat is adequate for this game. It doesn't have to be more than it is. And it actually was oddly satisfying most of the times. Like if you managed to get a good parry, that was always pretty cool. And even though the combat wasn't very complex, I always had to be very focused on it and very concentrated because it was very unforgiving. I mean, like 3 or 4 hits in a row and you were dead. So you always had to focus on the battle, and you kind of forgot that it was not very complex. And I mean, then you have the puzzles. I for one do like puzzles, so I enjoyed that part. Of course, they were all kind of similar. They used similar mechanics throughout the game, so I guess some people might find them boring, but personally I didn't mind the puzzles. And yeah, overall, like, the whole gameplay is adequate and very enjoyable for a game of this length, I believe. And yeah, I don't know, maybe let's talk a little bit about the elements of Norse mythology that they included. Obviously I was looking forward to that, having an interest in that myself. And Yes, they definitely did their research and they included a lot of these stories, and for the most part correctly. The only one that is, for the most part, their own invention is the whole Valravan thing. I don't think that this exists like that in classic Norse mythology. I don't know, it seems like they made Valravan some mix between Loki and Odin. I don't know, maybe they wanted to go in a different direction first and then decided to use like a more or less new character. But the rest was very interesting for me to hear. If there's one minor criticism that I have in that regard, and I do understand why they did it, how they did it. Obviously, they really only focused on all the dark and grim and depressing stories, which arguably isn't hard to do because there are a lot of them. But as I pointed out on several occasions, they very intentionally omitted all the, more positive aspects. Like, you have the story of Baldur's death, but they omitted the fact that he does come back from the dead eventually. And they have the story about Ragnarok, but they omitted that the Ragnarok is not the end, but that a new world will emerge. And I understand why they did it, because it just fits the atmosphere of the game to all focus on the darker parts. On the other hand, I mean, the game did end on a more positive note. As a matter of fact, I would argue that the story of Ragnarok basically has the same point or the same message, After every long winter there's going to be another spring, and it's going to be okay, and life will go on, and you just have to let go of the old, and new life will emerge, it will continue. So that is basically what the end of the game is about, right? So, I don't know. I like how they included the Norse mythology in this game, but I do feel by only focusing on the dark elements and omitting everything positive, they almost made it a bit into a gruesome stereotype. I don't blame them for it because they had to fit it into the game, and you don't have any more runestones after, confronting Hela, so you couldn't really continue the story of Ragnarok after that, I suppose, and mention that, it doesn't actually end like that. But this is just a minor nitpick on my behalf. And yeah, I don't know, maybe finally one comment on the topic of this game. I mean, they mentioned in the first screen that this deals with mental illness and mental problems. And I mean, I can't really speak to that because I don't really have any knowledge about it. I don't have any experience with it, fortunately, I should probably say. However, I think that it is a very bold move to make a game about a topic like this. I mean, they could have just made this like a standard video game about like a warrior who goes into hell to free her beloved. I mean, I guess it would have worked, but they decided to make it about mental illness, which I think is very interesting and certainly something that you don't see a lot in games. So I applaud them for the effort and for the balls to do this, because I feel that most bigger gaming companies probably would have said, nah, this is too dark, this is too specific. Let's just make this a standard story about a warrior girl who fights her way into hell to free her beloved. And I think it could have been a good story just like that, but I think it would not have been a special story or extraordinary story. So yeah, I think it was a good and interesting decision. But yeah, I guess this is all that I can think of at the moment. My thoughts on the game. A very great game. I'm glad that I played it. and I can only recommend it to everyone. I mean, it's not that expensive, but you definitely get some good playtime out of it for that price. Anyway, I guess I'm just going to end the episode here. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think of the ending, what your interpretations are. And yeah, that concludes this rather short Let's Play. And as you know, the next game that I'm going to play instead of this game is going to be The Walking Dead, which I'm going to start, I guess, the day after tomorrow, but I'm not exactly sure because I have some stuff coming up. I have a visitor next weekend, so I might have to take another break again from uploading, which is a pity because I just had to take a longer break due to my cold. But we'll see about this. But one way or the other, The Walking Dead is going to be the next game. You should just check out my Twitter and I will make some announcement on when I'm going to start it. But until then, I'm just going to say thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me and Senua and all her voices on this journey. And see you again next time.